Alright YouTube, so today's video we're actually capturing this on the Canon R1, and I am actually using a vintage FD lens on here, which is a 35mm f2 concave lens. This lens was a Zeiss killer in the day and gave Leica a run for their money. It was one of the very few designs that actually had a concave front element, which means it curves inwards, not outwards. So pretty remarkable lens. You can see even today, after almost 40 to 50 years, it still renders beautifully. So enough of that. What are we talking about in this video? We're talking about this guy up here, which is the RF 600mm f4 lens. Should you consider getting that? I've spent about a week and a half with this lens now and shot over probably close to 20,000 shots with it, and also a lot of video. So let me share with you, should you go out there and spend $13,000 on a lens like this? And I'll give you two situations. Depending on the situation you're in, you can try to apply it to your situation and see if it makes any sense. So this is not a comparison video with other brands. Frankly, I don't care. I don't know of a brand that makes a crappy 600 f4. They all are pretty good, and they all are made to a very high standard because it's one of the the staples, of a brand to be able to showcase that level of engineering and optical marvel, especially in the photography world. So regardless of the brand that you're with, this can apply. So who is this lens for? There are multiple things that I can think of. If you are someone that does not own a super-telephoto today, and you are getting into the system for the first time, and if you are someone with a pretty deep pocket, meaning good enough money set aside, it's about $13,000 for the lens. That's one. The other is if you are a working professional and that the media companies that you represent are willing to pay you to get that shot, and it's going to become a workhorse for you, and you intend to make a lot of money off of it. That's another camp. And then the third camp is people that actually own previous, like this guy, the 600 f11, same. You can see there's a color difference between this and the new one. But it's practically the same lens. The new one obviously has certain things we'll talk about in it that make it new, for one. So a little bit of history on the RF version of this lens. So not in the near distant future, not distant future, distant past, Canon actually updated the lens I just showed you on the screen to version 3. When we got to version 3, everything optically, performance-wise, was the same as the RF version. That version 3 of the EF version was released about 6 to 8 months prior to this guy coming out for the RF mount, because they were just doing that switchover. It's essentially the same lens with if you look at the end of it, you'll see like a gray ring at the end, which is the adapter. And that adapter is actually welded on there, so people that are freaked out about weather sealing and all this stuff, okay, fine, no problem, get that one. It does have the additional RF pins for faster communication, but I argue, because this particular one, once you put the adapter on, you end up with the RF pins anyway. So the question now becomes, is one better or not? So the answer to this one is if you own a version 2 or version 3 or even version 1 of these lenses, are you going to see like an optical nirvana that you don't have in the lens that you have? No, you won't. Because, like I said before, I don't know a company that's made a crappy 600 f4. Especially name branded one. So if you are in that camp, save your money and invest into a decent tripod and mount it. Now, this is where some people are going to get butthurt. I know a lot of people, oh, I want lightweight savings. Okay, fine. That one's about 6 pounds. This one here is about 8 pounds. Am I going to sit here and still handhold all this stuff all day long? I could for about 30, 40 seconds. That one probably a few minutes. After that, it's not the cool factor anymore. It's the fool factor, where you're walking around like a fool with a 600 f4, killing your arms, getting fatigued. And when the action really happens, your arms are already tired. Get a really nice gimbal. Invest in a decent carbon fiber gimbal and a really nice carbon fiber tripod, which is lightweight if you want to keep it light, and be done with it. Mine is a Gitso tripod, and it allows me to self-level the head very quickly. Those cost more, about $1,500, but when you got a $13,000 lens, $1,500 is pocket change to make sure that it don't fall off. Please don't buy all of these, brands that are designed to handle smaller lenses. Make sure that you get the right lenses paired with the right kind of tripods, so you do not have a situation where the tripod is not able to balance that lens properly and you end up in a situation where you end up dropping the lens. You don't want to drop these lenses. So in that situation, trying to even handhold and fool around with the optics all day long doing this, yeah, you could do it. It's not a good idea. That's not why you buy a 600 f4. I mean, if you really want 600 millimeters of reach, I mean, you can get the 200 to 600 by Sony. You can get like the 200 to 800, which are very handholdable. It's like about 2 to 3 pounds. That's fine. And on the Nikon side, you have like the 180 to 600 or whatever. Those are perfect zooms. They're light enough. Now, people will argue, hey, I can get the Nikon PF and I can get the Canon DO lenses. Yes, you can. But again, you have to keep in mind, they are not the same as a 600 prime like this. They are not. There is a difference, obviously difference in the price too. So figure out what works for you. Even with the Nikon PF lenses, what I have seen is people that are very serious about what they do with those lenses usually invest in a decent tripod and have it mounted. I would recommend that. The other big thing that Canon ones do, I'm not sure about other brands, but the moment you mount these onto the tripod, it knows it's mounted to the tripod and it adjusts the image stabilizer accordingly. So read your manual on whatever you have and go for it. Now, if I did not own this lens that I just showed you, would I buy that? In a heartbeat. It truly is amazing optically, and it is blazing fast on the R1. So if you are buying cameras like the R1, R5 II, and you do not own this lens or something like this, you should really seriously think about it if you're very serious about doing that type of work with it. If you're not and you're just a casual shooter, just rent it, enjoy it, send it back. So I don't have too much more, to really add here. That's who this is really for. You guys wanted my view on what do I think of this new RF versus what I already have. Will I be buying the new one? Honestly, yes, I could do a video and show you side by side and all this, but you have already seen thousands of videos like that. It's a waste of time, showing you the same thing again. I don't think it's worth it for me to go spend $13,000 and go sell this lens, because I can't see a day and night difference between them optically. I'm talking about just optical performance. Yes, that's got faster motors and things like that. I get all that. But seriously, for whatever I'm tracking, that's fast enough for now on the one that I have. With the adapter. The other advantage of the EF version of this lens is I've got about 6 1D bodies and some 5D bodies up there from Canon, and I can mount it onto any of those. Now on the RF version, you cannot do that. So if you do have a lot of EF type of things, you need to think about it, whether you want to go and take that leap forward, because it's not backwards compatible. So with that, like, subscribe, be nice to each other. Leave your comments below if you actually own something like this, or would you consider buying one like this. If you are, I'll leave links down below. Get it, go for it while you can. Because these lenses are truly very, very special. And hopefully it inspires you to do that. I mean, you saw some of the shots at the dam on what can be done, and some of the things that I hadn't even posted on social media that even Canon USA commented on. So it delivers. So you know, you want the ultimate in image quality, regardless of the brand that you have. Consider these kind of primes: 600 f4s, 800 5.6s. Yes, they're heavier, bigger lenses, but you know, you got to pay to play. So with that, don't forget to play, actually, because if you don't play, you can't be in the game, and you're just on the sideline. So, you know, definitely get in, at least do something. Go out there, create your magic, and I will talk to you in the next one. Thank you.